Today, there are many who have claimed to have seen the curvature of the Earth, whether through an airplane, a GoPro camera, or simply just being high up in the sky. Many have claimed convincingly that they have seen the curvature of the Earth. But friends, is it really the curvature of the Earth they are seeing? Well, I will let today's most well-renowned scientist, Neil deGrasse Tyson, explain this.
With Felix at 128,000 feet above planet Earth, it's Kittinger who tells him it's time to open the capsule door.
There it is. There's the world out there.
Suddenly his legs are hanging out.
Release seatbelt.
Felix is slow to respond to some commands. Kittinger is worried the lack of pressure may be affecting him.
Okay, do you read me, Felix, on the communications?
Finally, a thumbs up. He disconnects himself from the capsule and puts his hands on the railing.
Our guardian angel will take care of you.
With that, Felix dove.
And that dude who jumped out of a perfectly good balloon, what's his name? Felix Baumgartner. He would have been about 2 millimeters above the surface of this globe. That's his edge of space jump. Now, you know, I don't. It's fine. He wants to. I don't have a problem if he does it, but the honesty of it would greatly diminish what I think people thought he was actually doing. And not only that, they made sure to photograph him standing there with a really wide-angle lens, which curves horizontal lines. Right. So in the photo, you see this curvature of Earth's surface, and he said, "Wow, he's in space. Look at that." No, he's not. That stuff is flat. And then I showed examples of wide-angle lenses curving horizontal. I tweeted that.
You did.
But I don't want to be a spoiled, curmudgeon or anything. I just wanted you to put. I don't. There's so much to actually be impressed with. I don't want you to be distracted by things that are not. That's all I'm trying to say.
So, it's a lie. What they are doing is manipulating the footage or using what they call fisheye lens to convey the idea that there is a curve on the Earth and it's visible. But the reality is, friends, nobody have seen this curve. Even if you're on the plane, you don't see the curve. Even Richard Branson, who has been in the news this week, who claimed to have been to space, even their very own Neil deGrasse Tyson said that he never saw the curve.
Oh, by the way, you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you. Do you know how high up above the Earth he was?
No.
So if you take a
63 miles.
Oh, yeah, right. So take a schoolroom globe, and that's how high above it is he? So he's about 2 millimeters above the surface of a schoolroom globe. So nobody has seen the curvature of the Earth from that height. I just want to make that clear. Okay?
So this so-called curve of the Earth, nobody has seen it except for the exclusive crew of NASA, they say. But what evidence do they have? I mean, there's a whole video explaining how that whole moon landing was a lie. The photos which they claim to be of the Earth is a lie. It's photoshopped, and they will tell you this.
NASA tells us that the Earth is photoshopped because it has to be.
It is photoshopped, but it has to be.
Then
There was another layer to sort of simulate the atmosphere.
And then there's this little bright spot.
It's called the specular highlight. So it's the reflection of sunlight off of water.
Those are the pieces, but you can't just slap them all together.
It just didn't look realistic. It looks kind of flat, or the clouds are sort of too see-through. So I just hit Command Z a lot.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space.
So where's the evidence? The reality is men are basing their faith in NASA. The idea that we live on a round spinning globe shooting out into nothingness. Men are placing their faith in man's word rather than the Bible. And this should cause any reasonable person to question. I mean, when I say I believe the earth is flat, many laugh and they look at you like you're crazy, when the joke is on them. This is what you call deception. Why do you believe it's round? Is it because a bunch of lying Freemasons who claim to have been on the moon said it's round? There's a reason why the Bible tells us Satan deceived the whole world, and we need not be beguiled by this. The reason why many believe that we live on a spinning globe is because we have been brainwashed, even before we can walk, to believe this. We have undergone some serious programming, and God is trying to wake us up from this deception that we may be able to stand for the coming delusions. There's a reason why the founder of the Jesuits stated, "Give me a child until he is 7 years old, and I will show you the man." The programming has to start in the early years of childhood, because if they were to come to a grown adult who hasn't undergone such programming and tell them that the world is round, that water curves around a ball, and that there are people in Australia that are currently upside down, they will look at you like you're crazy. So this is something for us to think about. But I love how this guy, Charles Morse, explained this. To summarize, nowhere in the Bible does God speak of a globe that is whirling and turning with its terrible load, but he did set the sun whirling in its journey to run, to make to return to whence it had come. So we look up in the sky and we see the sun doing its rounds every day through the earth. And yet they want to tell us that we are the ones moving and no one has felt this movement and you can't even detect this movement. This is ludicrous. This is madness. Nevertheless, he continues, if all Christians were anxious the truth to obtain and would search in sincerity, would not be in vain. For the deeper they search, it is sure and plain they have to believe the earth is a straight, level plane.
Why don't we see any land when we're looking down at the ocean from the space station?
Because you're over top of ocean.
Okay, well, don't you think they could be fooling us with this picture?
Okay, I give you this.
Wait, watch the picture. Watch the picture.
I know that they airbrushed some stuff.
It's not airbrushed. This is us in our front yard and a solar panel, and we tricked you, showing you how easy. We have zero budget. They have $65 million a day, and I tricked you.